Ben Barış Say. Ben Barış Say. I have no idea.
In the face of the enemy.
The enemy has no power over you.
And the son of the liquidated power is still on.
Your mother's a fox in hell, Paris.
Tim Dillon is going to hell.
Hello, everybody. It's Tim Dillon. Thank God both of my Catholic grandparents are dead. They don't have to hear that intro. This is Tim Dillon going to hell. I am here. It's Gas Digital. This is our first live episode. I'm very, very excited. We are joined by two people. One of them will be my co-host when he can make it. I'm not going to say the great, but the person, Ray Kump. Thank God both of my Catholic grandparents are dead. They don't have to hear that intro. This is Tim Dillon. See, this is what the intro. We're a little screwed up now with the. That's okay. Dana, our producer, come on in here. Dana, how are you?
Obviously doing well.
That's okay. We got a little the audio got a little fucked up. But again, we are advertising that we're all going to hell. So I imagine this is the work of Satan.
Something like that.
Okay. Dana's here with us, a producer of the show. We're very excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to do 1 minute of subscription stuff. If you like the show, and we hope you do, use the promo code HELL, and you can subscribe to the Gas Digital Network, or you could just subscribe to my show. You get the choice. You might as well do the whole network because you get great shows like Legion of Sickangs, High Society Radio. You get 15% off the price. So you're about $6 a month to subscribe to the whole network. My show is about $2.50, again, with the promo code HELL. If you don't think this is a good deal, you're to give me your address. I will sit down, old school, subprime mortgage style, in your kitchen and explain to you why it's a good deal. One of the many reasons that I will be spending my eternity in the netherworld was I did and loved selling subprime mortgages. They were really a big part of my life for about 5 years when I was a young impressionable man out there selling mortgages on Long Island, which is the work I believe Jesus Christ would do and will do when he returns. I believe he will have a shop. It was, what we called it. And I believe that Jesus would come back and be selling subprime mortgages. But if you don't think it's a good deal, you don't want to subscribe, I'll come to your house just like mortgages, and I'll sit down with you and I'll explain to you why this is a good investment. That's what I did, and everything ended up being fine. Ray Kump joins us. Ray Kump.
Hi. I like how they work Christ into the
yes,
pitch.
You have to.
Yeah.
Even though it's a show that's hellish, we do work the Lord in. What's evil without good? What's good without evil?
It's a whole bunch of nothing.
A whole bunch of nothing. And that's what we do on this podcast. We're gonna really take a hard, critical look at the people that society's decided to hate, the billionaires, the dictators, the CEOs, the people that society has decided are evil, and we're going to take a look and say, maybe they're not so evil. And maybe the only thing that separates them from us is ability and intelligence and their will to succeed and their will to win. Because a lot of the people that are complaining about the people on Wall Street are mad that they haven't figured out a way to be them. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong. Ray Kump worked at a morgue for a while.
Yeah, it was the best time of my life.
Best time of Ray's life was working with the dead. Before that, Ray worked at a potato bread warehouse.
Well, concurrently and before. Yeah, I mean,
Ray is the
I was a
symbol.
wedding photographer. It was a part-time job.
He had a part-time job at a potato bread factory.
I was a warehouse manager.
He didn't put 2 feet into that job. He was dipping his toe into the potato bread warehouse industry.
I mean,
you would think people desperate enough to be in a potato bread warehouse would need every hour.
Oh, I wanted more hours. They wouldn't give it to me. There was an old guy there
So this was part-time, not by your choice. You weren't moonlighting as a potato bread warehouse worker.
Well, it was a tail end of me photographing weddings, which I was...
Why did that end? Why did that stop?
Look, At this point, I'm pretty good at it, but I was never the high upper echelon guy at that point.
That's shocking.
Yeah, it's just a lot of it was just I sweat a lot.
And you tell me about these weddings. You have two fat pigs. You've showed me pictures.
Right.
That are getting married at places like the Sandcastle in Long Island or whatever it is.
If we're lucky.
If you're lucky, the Sandcastle. You know what I mean?
But
have you ever done a wedding at a VFW, like real bad?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've done some VFW weddings.
Yeah, I've done some real trash.
And it's primarily white
I've
trash.
done these backyard weddings in like it's not even the worst name, like Amityville, but these two real fat pigs, and they were like just sunburned, and like they were just serving shellfish, and sweating,
and warm mac salad, warm potato salad,
shitty tent.
Have you ever been to a wedding with a deli salad?
Yeah.
It really doesn't bode well for the future of the marriage. You know,
it's just a hot day, and they're serving. In theory, it's fine, but the shrimp with the bacon wrapped around it,
right?
But something just seems salty and gluttonous about it.
Yeah. It's and it's in a backyard. And you know what's and you when we talk about these things, what's funny is that these people are always thrilled. Like, this really is the best day of their life.
Oh yeah,
this is it.
It was their second marriage. They already had a kid. I mean, I couldn't.
They already procreated.
Yeah, and like I couldn't have done.
They already brought another future janitor into the world.
That's one of my I mean, that was one of my
Not
earlier.
that there's anything wrong with being a janitor.
It depends. But I really couldn't have made a wrong step. They didn't care less. They know what they look like. They weren't looking for. It's the young ones. It's the young Italian brides who like want everything to be this like picturesque. You
ever do
fantasy.
Jewish weddings?
Not a lot.
Yeah, they don't let you in there.
I've done tons.
You're not getting in
I've done
there.
tons of bar mitzvahs. I'm not sure if I did a wedding.
Well, it's like when my it's like my boss in mortgages always said. I said, I got a good deal. I said, I'm going to go out and pitch them. He said, what's their last name? I said, Cohen. He goes, no, you're not. Don't waste your time. Don't get in that car.
One time I was doing a bar mitzvah at the Great Neck Country Library. It was like a high-end thing.
Sure.
And some guy called me a schlepper.
A schlepper?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Some Yiddish thing. And,
really?
Yeah.
Like a schlep. You're a schlep.
Yeah. I mean, it got into a confrontation.
And
a little bit.
I've seen pictures of you. You're literally running around these weddings, sweating like a pig.
They like it, apparently.
Minutes away from a heart attack. Well, they like seeing somebody more fucked than they are.
Yeah.
Every poor person likes to see another poor person beaten and abused. And me and my father went to a vacation once at this castle in Massachusetts called the Blantyre, and one woman abused the waiter so much, and nothing delighted me and my father more than seeing this guy. Like, she looked at him and she said, "Where is Maurice? I've done everything with Maurice. Who are you? You'd need to find Maurice." And the guy was nervous, and he's sweating. And instead of being in solidarity with this poor schmuck, who was my father said, see that woman? She's going to get him. She's going to get him. I said, that's right. She's paying a lot of money. She deserves Maurice.
This is when you were a kid?
I was a young child.
Wow.
I've never sided with the downtrodden. I've always sided with the rich. Even in the most egregious examples, I've always said, well, you know what? If I had a lot of money and I was planning an event with Maurice, I would want to deal with Maurice too. And my dad looked at me and he goes, that's the type of woman who will say something like, I'll buy this place and fire you personally. We love that stuff.
Probably
Me and my
riddled
father.
with debt, though.
Could I don't know. She was like, that was old money, really.
Right.
I don't know how riddled with debt she was. I want to congratulate, and you'll get to know me if you keep listening to the podcast, and we hope that you do. You're going to get to know more about me. I come from a long line of snake oil salesmen, bad salesmen. I myself, not a great salesman, not the worst. Ray himself, a technical guy. Good with film editing and things like that. Worked at the morgue as a photographer.
Yeah, I photographed
You were
autopsies. I fingerprinted them.
You fingerprinted the bodies and you photographed them.
Sometimes I would undress them.
And things like that. Okay, you would undress them. That wasn't part of the job, but he would still do that.
I would help out.
Yes, he would help out. He would go above and beyond. He'd say, don't worry, no need to pay me overtime. I'll lock up. I'll lock up.
That's not what you think.
Yeah, it is everything you think. So congratulations to Hillary Clinton. And by the way, because today I wanted to a few themes. One of the themes I have is picking friends. I, my entire life, have consistently picked the worst people to be around. People that are liars, selfish, thieves. Now, all of those things I have no problem with. Those are great. But they're not even good at it. They're amoral. They have no morals, but they also have no standing in society because they lack all of the other things that one would need to make something. To be a liar and then to just be too lazy to even lie in the right circumstances is a problem. And I've picked the wrong people my entire life. My friends on Long Island, many of them are DJs. They're personal trainers. Many of them stand to inherit a property and not a, you know what I mean?
No, by
like a
personal
Levitt
trainer,
house.
DJ, drug dealers, you mean?
Most of my friends, right. Most of my friends have sold HGH
Right.
at one point in their life, human growth hormone.
Yes.
I have consistently picked bad people to be around. And one thing that I've noticed about successful people is the people that you surround yourself with is so important. And our first example we're gonna talk about in a minute, but I'll just illustrate this. We just passed 4th of July. I got a lot of flack for writing a tweet. I said 4th of July weekend is about being in the backyard of somebody who is more successful than you. It is not about friends and family. That is absurd. That's absurd. And people got angry. I got flack on Twitter, which is Tim J. Dillon on Twitter. You could tell me if I'm wrong. You could tell me if I'm right. And I will stand by that. And people said, no, I like my kids. And it's not what I meant. What I mean is that there are certain mile markers throughout the year that you can tell where you are and where you're going. And your boss or the person above you or ahead of you or wealthier than you or is doing better than you should be inviting you somewhere for 4th of July. Am I wrong on that, Ray?
I don't care about family, of course. I'm not a person. But
Right.
I never thought 4th of July was a particularly big networking holiday.
I think it is because
Okay.
it's the beginning of the summer. So if your boss has a home in the Hamptons,
Well, Memorial Day is, right?
well, Memorial Day is really the early first, but 4th of July is kind of, the house is going, everything's up and running, the pool
Right.
is filled, everything.
Now, if you're not in the Hamptons, where are you?
If you're not in the Hamptons on the 4th of July, you could be in many places. You could be in Martha's Vineyard. You might be in Nantucket. You could be at the Jersey Shore. You could be at other parts of
So
Long Island.
so high-end
You could be
suburban
in Miami.
areas.
You could be wherever. You could be in Manhattan.
Okay.
Watching fireworks. But where you want to be
On a
is
boat.
you want to be on a boat. You want to be. But the people that, if you're not important at the firm, you don't get invited to these things.
Right.
And that is what you need to realize. So if your friends are going, if they're going, and you're not, that you've failed. And you go eat warm potato salads in
So here-
Levittown with your family.
Here's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
You're in a firm.
Yes.
They did not invite you. Do
Right.
you show up anyway?
No.
You don't make the encroachment.
You
show
don't
up with a chutzpah.
show up anyway. What you do is you figure out why you didn't get invited. And it's probably because you're a drag on everybody.
Right.
You're a drag. You find a way to generate some fucking income. What do you think, Dana? Am I wrong here?
No, I think it's reasonable. I was actually working for a
Me and
jewelry
Dana were
designer.
both at a barbecue with people that were funnier and more successful than us, correct?
Completely true.
I was
Thank
not
you.
invited.
Ray, that is a great point.
It's all in who you know. So,
Correct.
when I was in my early 20s, I worked for this jewelry designer, and he was a real eclectic guy.
Jew?
Kind of a dick.
Israeli?
Wait, let me think.
Persian?
Yeah. Totally
Okay,
Jewish.
all of them. All right.
I think he was Ashkenazi. But anyway, it was probably like a month and a half, 2 months after I started working for him, he turned 50 and he had a big party and he invited everyone who worked at the company and, like a bunch of his friends were there. And then the shop manager comes up to me towards the end of the day and he was like, so I just want to make it clear that you're not invited.
Wow.
Right? You understand that it's a personal thing. And I was like, that's fine. No. I mean, this would have been a good opportunity to get to know one of his new employees, but whatever, I get it.
Right.
And just
Were
went
you the
home.
only one?
Yeah, the only one.
Out of how many people?
Probably 15.
What did you do wrong?
He had a reputation for being a colossal asshole.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll
And
blame
how long
him,
were you there
I
for
guess.
at that point?
At that point, it only had been a matter of weeks, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months.
Ray, by the way, let me tell you why Ray wasn't invited. I wanted to see, I don't know if you can see this water bottle. This is something that a homeless person would be ashamed to carry. This water bottle, I have taken Ray to 3-star restaurants in New York City, and he takes out this water bottle in front of everyone.
I do not take
which
it out in
is
front. I take it out
crumpled.
in the
He takes
bathroom.
it out of a bag, and he brings it into a bathroom and then refills it because he doesn't want to keep buying water. And for whatever reason, he's always dehydrated and near the point of death. So he needs water, so he brings this crumpled bottle of water around. This is what he would do. If you invited him to the Hamptons, your backyard, he'd walk in and he'd refill this water bottle like he was in a FEMA
All
camp.
right, let's be clear. I don't pull it out at the table. I excuse myself with my bag, and once I get into the bathroom, I pull it out and refill it.
Can
in
you
the
imagine someone going to use the bathroom and seeing you fill that water bottle again? Take a look at it, folks. Can you imagine seeing this? I would call the police.
sink?
I don't even like the
You
police.
have to crumple it to fit it into the sink sometimes.
You
They don't-
have to. I want everyone to listen to that because there's certain signs that you are on the precipice of disaster, and one of them is you have to crumple the bottle to fit it into the sink.
Yeah, because
why
they don't
do
have-
you need a constant stream of water?
It's very hot out. I sweat profusely, all right? So you have to maintain hydration. It's an important thing. You're probably perpetually dehydrated. It's why you're so cranky. You know, I am trying to keep a certain level of skin tone.
Skin tone.
You know,
a
it's
certain level of skin tone.
It's good for your skin. It's good to stay hydrated. Ask a doctor.
Another woman who's hydrated. Speaking of hydration, a woman who's clearly hydrated, a woman who's picked the right friends, and by the way, some of the wrong ones, but has done pretty well over 20 to 30 years in public life, is a great Hillary Rodham Clinton, probably the next president of the United States. Maybe, we don't know.
Wouldn't have thought you'd be a fan of hers.
Well, here's what I like about her. One, she's an old crook. She's part of a crime family, like the Bushes, and I respect that. She's been able to build and maintain a network of criminals that she surrounds herself with, and the loyalty that she has inspired in these people is amazing. And the people that work for her, like Huma Abedin, all these people are indefatigable. They are out 24 hours a day trying to get Hillary out of whatever jam she puts herself in. Most recently, she used a private email server for convenience, but really to run a slush fund of foreign despots who donated to the Clinton Foundation, which is the bigger scandal behind
So
the
what
email.
What were they pitching? Like what were like?
I'm sorry, Dana. What?
You're waving your hand up and it's going right into Ray's shot.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry that I
That's
blocked
okay.
Ray.
No one
I
cared.
hope we didn't lose too many listeners that I blocked Ray's face for a minute.
It's very hydrated, my face.
But so the Hillary Clinton,
what were they getting for their money?
they were getting influence and sway with a sitting Secretary of State. You have Sidney Blumenthal, one of her aides, who she was not allowed to hire. She wasn't allowed to hire Blumenthal.
Who was he before that? Like
A
was
thug,
he okay.
a hired Clinton thug.
Okay.
Then Obama goes, you can't have Blumenthal in. He's a thug.
Like a Joel Albach type.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Hillary goes, okay, so she can't hire him. He can't get a paycheck from the State Department, so he's just firing off emails to her going, by the way, listen, when you guys topple Gaddafi, my people really want to do business with the new Libyan government. It illustrates the military-industrial complex to the T. This is unelected people that have a ton of power and sway. Bill and Hillary Clinton spent years giving speeches and currying favor with some very disgusting people.
Sure.
And those people donated a lot of money.
We're not naive, though. We both know that this happens all the time. So
All the time.
is the difference that there's a certain contingent in the Pentagon that normally has their people who get paid off and get their contracts, and she was bypassing that?
I'm sure. Bill and Hillary Clinton are not the only show in town
Right.
here, 100%. But what we're going to play, one thing I love about the loyalty that she's built, I've chosen friends that cannot help me. I've chosen friends that are, many of them cannot pronounce words. But this woman...
You talking about me?
No, I mean, not you. You do have a speech impediment. People might have noticed that. I don't know what it is. I believe your tongue is too big for your mouth. But
I have a small tongue, actually, but
it's a small tongue and it can't reach all the parts of your mouth it needs to.
probably.
Great. Well, what we have here, the Whitewater investigation, is one of my favorite clips. I really put together some clips I really enjoy. This is a clip of the Whitewater investigation, and this says a lot about loyalty and friends. And when you're at the 4th of July party and you're looking around, you want these people. So let's play this, Dana, the lovely Dana.
The
Thank you.
quality of the witness's memory is in inverse proportion to that witness's proximity to the Clintons. The folks who were career employees of the Park Service, the Justice Department, the Secret Service, or the various agencies in Arkansas who had no close proximity to the Clintons had clear memories, told us what happened, became very specific in their recollection of events. The closer the witness got to the Clintons, the more they had difficult memories. They couldn't be refreshed even when presented with notes of meetings that they had attended. They just couldn't remember anything.
Don't remember that coming up.
I don't remember.
I don't recall such a meeting. I don't remember I have no idea what this is.
I can't recollect specifically.
I don't recall what I was doing.
I do not remember the conversation.
I just don't remember talking.
Can't remember the details. What I recall is what I recall.
I don't remember it quite as much.
I just don't have any memory.
This is great.
Again, I can't remember an instance.
These are real
Not
friends.
particularly.
At least I have absolutely no memory of having done anything.
This is
Now,
20
what were they
years
ask-
ago.
like, I
They were
understand-
asking about Whitewater. This is the.
Now, because I
Yeah.
kind of know about, most of our listeners probably don't
Yeah.
know much about it. I understand the guy died there, but what was the initial
Well, it was
investigation?
Susan McDougal and Jim McDougal owned a bank, and Bill and Hillary Clinton got in some shady real estate investments with them in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Clinton was the Attorney General of Arkansas, they didn't have any money. They had a lot of ambition, but you can't play in the big game without money.
Right.
So they said, we got to scratch up some money here, and we can't let the law to really impede our ability to go out there and earn. So they got in with Jim and Susan McDougal, who are shade balls. They got into some shady real estate investments. And listen, they were nothing. They were never convicted of anything. There was a lot of smoke. There was probably some fire. But again, that group of people that you saw is still, many of them are still here 20 years later, and they're saying very similar things about her private emails. So, I mean, that's great.
Right.
The idea, they only had really one or two big defectors. You know, Dick Morris defected to the Republicans.
But was that a qualitative? Like did he actually screw them over, or was it more just?
I don't know if he screwed them over. He wrote a book called Partners in Power, and he tried. He did screw them over. And kind of Stephanopoulos became a media whore.
Okay, but he never sold out, did he?
No, I mean not in the way that. So he didn't defect in the way that Dick Morris did.
Right.
But they've been able to maintain this group of people, excluding some, getting rid of some, picking up others along the way.
Sure.
But I mean, this is great. This is
Where
absolutely.
does Carville fit into the new Clinton? Is he part of this whole new thing?
I mean, I think he's unofficially part of it. I mean, I think he's still their guy that goes on CNN and Fox and whatever network, and basically he's carrying the message,
Right.
in a way, in an effective way. He's a brilliant guy and a great speaker, and everybody loves him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in their I mean, he probably is unifficially a strategy guy that they consult.
Sure, but
I would imagine.
maybe he's getting a little long in the tooth.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. But Hillary Clinton is just got cleared of all her wrongdoing. Bernie Sanders and his team of white ghosts, pale, Brooklyn vegans, he's abandoned them. He jumped ship and he endorsed Hillary Rodham Clinton today.
This comes a day after he got his concession to have a convention amendment for $15 minimum wage. So.
Okay, the $15 minimum wage, great.
So he got something for him.
He got something for it. He sold out all of his those people in Bushwick that pay $9,000 a month for rent, but are somehow doing the right thing, living in houses that were occupied by black and Hispanic families, by the way, up until these kids decided to move in because they wanted to play Hobbit trivia.
The thing?
Okay, yes, it is a thing because they wanted to go to drink and draw. They wanted to get hammered and draw pictures because I don't know what they were doing when they supposedly should have been drawing. Maybe they were getting molested, and now they want to. So this is the Bernie constituency. People that are ignorant of the basic functions of the market. They don't know anything about economics. They've grasped the idea that the world is unfair. Great. If you walk around a locker room, you can see that. Some people have large, beautiful, thick penises. Some people have thick, short penises. Some people have long, stringy penises. Some people have penises with lots of veins that look like they've been in an electrical fire. Some people have micro penises. Some people have penises that are blue. There's a bluish color to some of them. And so that's not, it's not fair. It's not fair that when I was in 12th grade, when I was 12, 13 years old, this kid changing next to me, and it was on the swim team, had the biggest dick I've still ever seen at 12. That's not fair. So the Bernie people have.
Have you reconnected with that guy?
No, he's a surfer. He's a professional surfer. But the point is,
have him on the podcast.
I should have him on the podcast. We'll have his dick on the podcast.
Sure.
But the Sanders people got sold out today. Maybe some of them go to Jill Stein. Maybe they don't. But again, this is Bush. If you don't live in New York and you haven't been in this horror show, these people that think they're revolutionaries because they tweet, They're upset about cops shooting unarmed black people, so they decide to go for a walk. Because here's a real protest, by the way. Getting arrested. When the cops say leave the street, you don't leave the street.
Well, some of the people did get arrested.
Some of them
they got
did.
Their heads caved in.
Yeah, some of them did, but a lot of them didn't.
Sure.
A lot of them, there's a lot of selfies on Facebook from our friends. I don't see anybody getting arrested. They're all still making their shows.
Well, I think Elsa Wade got.
She got arrested, and good for her. I mean, again, she's a fucking activist. She's a real activist. She's out there.
Yeah.
No, but you have these people from Bushwick that are like, this isn't right. I'm going to go to the walk. And then the cops go, get out of the street. You got to be like, yo, fuck you. But none of those people did it. But again, they're advertising on social media. They're out there talking about that they're revolutionary. They're not revolutionaries. And they knew nothing about anything. And Bernie Sanders whipped them up into a frenzy and delivered them right into the pockets of the most Wall Street-friendly candidate in recent memory, Hillary Clinton. Again.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, first of all, he got the minimum wage thing. That's something. But also, like, if it wasn't for Trump,
here's
do you
the deal
think
with
he
the
would have
minimum
played
wage
it differently?
amendment. They'll just stop paying people minimum wage.
Well, we can agree on that. But
Right.
that Bernie Sanders wants that. People
Right.
who want him want that.
Good.
So it's a victory in that sense for him.
By
But
the way, the minimum wage people, and I agree that people are being paid horribly low wages, but the minimum wage people need to understand that McDonald's, all these places are introducing now kiosks.
Robots.
Robots.
Yeah.
We just used a bomb robot to get rid of a guy who took out a couple of law enforcement people in debt. Soon we'll
Yeah.
have robots doing everything. So if you get mad at the cop, it's the robot to raise his
we
robot.
talk a lot about the quote unquote Illuminati, whatever this power contention is, and why if they're going to be nefarious and rule the world, what are they waiting for? I think they're waiting for robots to get better.
Yes,
and then
thank God.
Yeah, and once they are,
then they get rid of everybody.
Yeah.
And why not? But you go and the restaurants you eat in Bushwick. They're disgusting. I hate what they've done to eating in New York.
Wait, now we're at the restaurants?
Well, this is part of the problem. The Sanders voters are the ones in the restaurant on their phone when you want a fucking cheeseburger, and you can't get their attention
Where are you
because
going
they're
for
on a phone
cheeseburgers in
writing their
Bushwick?
screenplay.
Is there a good? Where's the cheeseburger spot
There's
in Bushwick?
nothing in Bushwick. Every restaurant looks like an abandoned warehouse. You sit on picnic chairs. You sit on furniture that these kids stole from foreclosed houses, by the way. And you sit there, and everything is the same thing: pork belly, kale, sriracha mayonnaise, sriracha water fountain, fucking whatever it is, and everything's disgusting.
A lot of brisket.
A lot of brisket. A bastardized version of chicken and waffles for
Yeah.
$19.
And what's that place-
Which some skinny white chick from Ohio's making.
Right.
Because she knows
Now, where
nothing's more soulful than her.
Where you go to Harlem for that, right?
I go to Amy Roos. I love Amy Roos.
Right, let's give them
Amy
a shout
Roos
out.
is great. Go check out Amy Roos. Chicken and waffles, which is called the Al Sharpton. Get the Al Sharpton. You get some macaroni and cheese.
Now, apparently, though, Clinton. We go back to the initial thing. Clinton was not charged, but it did some damage because it turns out that at least like 2/3 of the people who were voting for her, like her trust numbers have gone down. She's down to like 2% lead over Trump. So
It only does damage for a short period of time in the news cycle. It's not a big deal. One thing I'm amazed at is Hillary's ability to stay on message, which, again, if you want to be a criminal, is why I'd be a horrible criminal. I am a criminal, but I'm not great at it, but I'm trying. But Hillary stays on message. Now, I want to watch, and I don't know when this is from, but this is the guiltiest I've ever seen her look. And it's so guilty because we all know bad comics when they come up and they're too stilted, everything's scripted, they're too staged, they can't address the room, they don't feel comfortable, they don't look. We're going to play this tape of Hillary Clinton looking as guilty as anyone has ever looked, by the way, and just a real natural, retraction from her in terms of the email usage. Let's take a look at this.
Now, I would be pleased to talk more about this important matter, but I know there have been questions about my emails, so I want to address that directly, and then I will take a few
She got a
questions
4-point
from
plan.
you.
Watch this.
There are 4 things I want the public to know.
Like any
First,
innocent person.
When I got to work as
Right.
Secretary of State,
Sure.
I opted for convenience to use my personal email
Can we freeze
account,
that for a second, Dana?
which was
For convenience.
Which is, I mean, she requested. I
Convenience.
believe the story is that she requested
She
Obama.
was given permission to do this.
I don't know.
She was.
No, Obama
Yeah.
gets a BlackBerry.
Correct.
She's like, I want one of those Blackberries. And he's like, no, we don't. It's secure. It's not just a normal Blackberry. It's secure to go all that shit. She's like, we can't do that for you. We can't give you. And honestly, I don't know why they can't do it, but whatever.
Yeah.
So she goes, well, that's horseshit. So she puts a server in her, unapproved, puts a server in her house.
Yeah.
And so she can use, like, the main motivator, according to her, I think, was she wanted to be able to use this Blackberry in an unsecured fashion.
Right. Why?
Yeah, convenience.
Bigfoot, what is convenience mean? It's the sitting Secretary of State, and she goes, convenience. And by the way, if you accused your spouse of cheating on you, and they came back to you and said this, there are 4 things I would like you to know. Number 1, like this is as guilty as I've ever seen her look. We're gonna keep watching this, but I don't buy it for convenience.
Speaking of looking guilty, I think right now she really looks like a wolf from the Looney Tunes cartoon.
She does look like she does look like the wolf from the Looney Tunes cartoon. That's anti-woman, Dane. I'm very proud of you.
I do what I can.
Yeah, we
by
appreciate
the
it.
State Department because I thought it would be easier to carry just one device for my work and for my personal emails instead of 2.
Like a grandmother.
Looking back, it would have been better if I simply used a second email account and carried a second phone, but at the time, this didn't seem like an issue.
Right. It's not like she had Secret Service that could carry that phone for her or anything,
of my
you know?
work emails went to government employees at their government addresses.
What about the one to Sidney
which
Blumenthal?
meant they were captured and preserved immediately on the system at the State Department. Third, after I left office, the State Department asked former secretaries of state for our assistance in providing copies of work-related emails from our personal accounts. I responded right away and provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related, which totaled roughly 55,000
All right, we're going to get rid of this. You know what's funny?
pages.
She's got to be standing there going, I can't believe they're getting me on this. I've had people killed, you know? She's like, I can't believe it's a fucking email problem that's getting me. I've had people disemboweled. I've had my husband's people that accuse him of rape. I've threatened them. I can't believe they've got me on emails. What a thing.
I mean, it is
to have to go through.
A callous disregard for.
It is a callous disregard for national security. She doesn't care.
I mean, not just like it sounds like a big bluster issue, but there was a lot of sensitive information.
It's the law does not mean anything to people like her. But listen, a lot of people go, you're just beating up on Hillary Clinton. Are you beating up on the Clintons? That's not true. We've been run by the last 20 years for several crime families, and we're going to bring up this crime family right now. And there's no talking in this video. And this is what's so good about media. In order to balance out our criticism of the Clintons, and by criticism, by the way, I mean admiration. And we have this video, which Dana is going to play, and it's a little dance routine. Just in case you think that the Clintons, a little dance routine.
When is this from?
I don't know. That sword was used to behead someone. Look at this. Look how insane this is. This is something in the Saudi, they're in Saudi Arabia. President Bush, what are they beheading someone right now? What are they doing? And he's dancing. Look at this. This is one of the most evil regimes of our time. We've given them billions, given them tons of weapons, they've given us tons of oil. And they're doing sometimes, this is their version of Hamilton. This is the Saudi Arabian Hamilton that our president was watching.
People are likely complicit in 9/11.
Yeah, likely complicit in 9/11. So the 28 pages scrubbed from the 9/11 report, and they're having a dance-off. Bush and this other tyrant having a dance-off.
Well, I'm sure there's a rational explanation.
I'm sure there's a rational. So there you go. There you go, folks. I've had enough. I've had enough of crime families. We're gonna stop. So on my little level, 4th of July, I try to do the right thing, and I end up not. See, this is why I can never be a Bush or a Clinton, because we can. I go over to my friend Molly's house to shoot a sketch. I noticed there's a photograph on the door of one of the apartments. It's just like a slum on St. Mark's. It's a tenement building, and they say Mr. Ortega lost 2 packages. One was a microwave. The social services gave Mr. Ortega 2 packages: a microwave to heat up his frozen meals, and an air conditioner, and a fan, because he doesn't have an air conditioner. Social services sprung for a fan, and they've been stolen. social services will not replace them. So please return Mr. Ortega his stuff. Thank you. So I say to my friend Molly, I said, why don't we set up a GoFundMe for Mr. Ortega? We'll get him an air conditioner, we'll get him a microwave, and we'll get into Huffington Post for the GoFundMe. Let's get it covered. Me and you, we see this thing, this old guy.
This was actually your idea. It wasn't Molly's idea.
This was my idea. I said, everybody wins. He gets what he needs. We get a mention in the Huffington Post. Comics help old man. I was very clear that I wanted this to get into the press.
Right.
In any way possible. But our friend Matt was there, who has connections at HuffPo.
So what happened? No one gave money?
No, Ray. Worse. People gave money. Nobody knew about it. We couldn't get it in the Huffington Post. Nobody would put this goddamn fucking GoFundMe on a thing.
So you raised the money. You got him.
We raised the money. Who cares? We
no,
raised
but
the money.
You got him the money for his air conditioner, his fan, and his microwave.
Yeah.
And you're mad that no one put that.
Yes,
in the
I'm
newspaper.
mad that it wasn't covered because no one knows we did it. That's why I'm taking this podcast as the opportunity to tell people we did it. First of all, listen, don't look at me like I'm a nut. I did the right thing here for Mr. Ortega, who I don't even know. I don't know if he's in the country legally. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he fucking scammed and stole those fucking packages himself. I don't know who took his fan. I've got no business with him, okay? He's probably homophobic. I don't know. He's older. Many of the older people are. But what I decided to do was help him and help myself, which is self-interest is what propels our society forward. So I told Molly, let's get it in the fucking Huffington Post. Comics get old man air conditioner. Let's do this. Let's do it the right way. So Matt Ott, who's helping us, sets up the GoFundMe because I don't really know about GoFundMes. I never donate to them, and I didn't donate to this one. I don't know how. So I usually share them. Sharing is the donation. So what I did was Matt Ott says we're going to raise $600. I said, hey, fuckhead, you can't put up $600. That you could get an air conditioner and a microwave and still have $400 left over. $600.
What a fan or an air conditioner?
Air conditioner.
$100?
$200.
All right. And are these microwaves like $1.50?
What does he need? A decent microwave. He's heating up frozen meals. He's almost dead. It said on the thing, this is what Matt said to me. He goes, well, we're only going to get him the bait. Yeah, we're getting the basics. He's going to be thrown out next year because rent control, they're going to make it a fucking high-rise where people can
How long did it take you to raise? How much did you raise?
We raised $400.
How long did it take
2 days.
Okay, you
2 to 3 days.
You could have. Where would the loss be if you raised $200 more? You give it another day and you give him a nice microwave.
Why does he needs it to heat up frozen meals? You stupid fuck!
But why are you capping it for him?
Meals.
It's charity. Why
frozen
are you
meals? Now you didn't even hear the end. He wouldn't even take it. He didn't even take it. He tried to rape Molly Austin. You gotta let me finish the story. He tried to rape Molly.
He tried to rape her?
Not really, but he invited her in for soda, which means I'm gonna rape you. And he didn't
an old man.
That's not true. He tried to rape her. So I want my name off this GoFundMe. I'm not giving a rapist a fucking nice air conditioner.
So because Huffington Post would not cover this act,
they did not cover it. I don't know what's wrong with
you are slandering this man as a racist, a rapist.
Listen, this is what happened. Molly said, Mr. Ortega, and he said, hello. She said, listen, Mr. Ortega, are you there? Yes, hello. Do you want, and we got you an air conditioner, Mr. Ortega, and a microwave. I know. But then he says, come on in and have a soda with me. What, you know what he wants.
Well, it sounds like he's trying to be a decent person.
Trying to be a decent person.
Were you
he's
there?
Trying to attack her.
Were you there?
I'm not going back. No, I'm not.
You weren't there. Okay.
No, I've not had anything to do with this other than the initial idea.
Did she have the soda?
No, she would not enter his apartment alone, which is a good move.
No, that's smart.
Because we didn't know, but he will not. He will only take things from social services. He's ill. There's something wrong. There's something not right with him. So this is why.
So you think he's a grifter?
No, he's not a grifter. He's been there forever. He's not grifting anywhere. He's been in that little, a little apartment. So here's why: when you try to do the right thing, you end up getting shafted. No one cares. Nobody covers this. Nobody puts it in the Huffington Post. Number one. Number two, the guy that you're trying to help tries to rape your friend.
Seems inconclusive, but okay.
In this climate, I don't think it's too inconclusive. I think it's pretty conclusive.
He offered her a soda.
He's in a hot apartment with not even a fan. He's a sweltering hot jungle, and he's going to have a soda
Did you
with
see
her.
this man?
I've never seen him.
He's an elderly man.
He's probably an elderly man.
I mean,
we're going to try to get him on the podcast. But here's my point.
Well, not after you accuse him of rape.
Here's my point. It's very, very hard to do the right thing for people. And this shows it. And it's not cut and dry. It's not easy. And that's my whole point. And throughout my life, I've tried to do the right thing for people. And throughout my life, my efforts have been thwarted.
Are you going to try another GoFundMe?
No.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I'm telling you right now, it's very, very tough. So, I hope the social services get... And by the way, why can't they fucking replace his packages?
Well, that doesn't seem great.
No.
But,
it's not right.
I don't know if we should call him a rape. But I applaud your efforts to do whatever you were trying to do.
Right.
Seems nice.
I'm speaking to a real estate developer friend of mine. The entire building will be bulldozed with Mr. Ortega inside. Served. And the microwave and the air conditioner.
Where is the microwave and the air conditioner now?
I don't know, but if I go over to Molly's and find it there, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
This is starting to seem sketchy.
It does seem sketchy. Who's fucked me in this?
Is the money
am I
going
getting
back?
Fucked, or am I fucking someone else? I didn't see any of this money, by the way. I didn't see a dime of it. And I don't think that's right either.
Can you refund the money to the GoFundMe?
I should get 10%.
I don't know if you should get a cut, but maybe the money should go back to the people who gave the money.
That ain't happening. I'll tell you right now. I don't know what happened.
This seems like an
That is
elaborate.
not happening.
This seems like an elaborate story for you and Molly to grift $300 a piece.
That's why we needed the cover of Huffington fucking Post, and we couldn't get it. So now we have a rapist, and I don't know what we have. I don't know what kind of air. Matt Ott wanted to get this guy fucking Central Air. I'm like, you fool. You get him the littlest amount. And listen,
get him Central Air.
Well, Matt Ott was like, we need a $350 air conditioner with 40 trillion BTUs. No, we don't. Not for his last 9 months on Earth.
Would be nice.
So my whole issue is when you try to help people, if all these... So now I don't know where this air conditioner is. I don't know where the microwave is. And I don't know where this money is.
I mean, did Molly show up with the items?
I mean, I guess so.
This starting to seem...
I wish we could call Molly and straighten this fucking thing out. But one day we're going to. And I'll tell you right now, she's going to... Maybe Molly took it. Maybe Molly's the person...
So now we're off Mr.
Maybe I thought I was doing something, and she ended up getting the better of me.
So now we're off Mr. Ortega, and now we're after Molly. Now we're...
Somebody in this thing fucked me. I don't know who.
Not HuffPo.
Somebody in this thing fucked me. If I see Ariana Huffington, I'll open face smack her, of course.
I don't think she owns it anymore.
Oh, well, whatever. Her name's on it. We're going to play a new campaign ad now. Hillary Clinton. This is Donald Trump's new ad, The Donald. It's okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we weren't using that. Give me a second.
Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it. We don't even have to use it. It's just fun because she barks like a dog.
She's calling him the Donald?
She's calling him... No, he's got a new ad where she barks like a dog.
Oh.
Really, what's fun about this election is it's heading into an area where no comedy about the election has been funnier than the election.
It's an absurd circus.
That's what's happening, and it's fascinating to watch. There's nobody doing Trump has ever been funnier than Trump.
The whole... Did we do it before with the belt, the whole thing when he was...
We didn't look at that, but that's amazing. I mean, the thing with Ben Carson, that was one of the funniest things ever. And we've watched it. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Goddamn circus.
It's a goddamn circus. And it's absolutely fascinating. But...
now, did you see last week someone was asking him, like, oh, do you think you... Like, what is the odds of you not...
Okay, let's watch this. Shut up, Ray.
All right.
Your fat
Republicans
mouth.
want to repeal it. You know, they actually, with a straight face, say that the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation on Wall Street. They actually say that. You know, I remember...
Look who's behind her. Look at these chicks behind her.
I've supported my husband through all of his races.
She would destroy them if her husband raped them.
And one of my favorite political ads of all time.
He wouldn't rape the one with the short hair, I'll tell you that much.
Arkansas, where the announcer said, wouldn't it be great if somebody running for office said something, we could have an immediate reaction as to whether it was true or not? Well, we've trained this dog. And the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. And then the dog was barking on the radio.
What's she talking about?
And so, you know, people were like barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. You know, we need to get that dog and follow them around. And every time they say these things, like, oh, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation. You know?
What the hell is she doing?
I think we could cut right through a lot of their, their claims.
Dude, that's worse. That's worse than when she did that whole Black Minstrel. Whatever.
Yeah, she was like, did she sing a Negro spiritual? She was like, oh, Lord, we shall overcome. Yeah, isn't that...
Here's the thing. We both agree. She's a great huckster. She's a murderer.
She's not even a great huckster.
Well, my thing. Yeah. We don't mind that.
Right, we don't.
What do you attribute her seeming incompetence as far as like not? She always looks like she is lying.
From mortgages, she's a great behind-the-scenes person. She's not good out front. She's not the opener of the deal. She's not the closer. Okay. She's the processor. She's the back office. Hillary Clinton is the back office. That's why she thrives in the Senate, making deals, greasing palms where Obama does not. She's not good in front of the cameras. That takes a special type of con.
Right.
It is not something that Hillary Clinton thrives. She's a back. That's why they love her. The defense contractors and the Wall Street people, and they all love her, and Congress loves her because she can make deals, and she gets in there, and she knows how to talk to them. She does not know how to talk to regular people. She doesn't know how to talk to people that live in Des Moines. You know what I mean? That's not her demo. She doesn't know how to speak to them.
Do you think she's better at Bill at the backroom shit? Because Bill is great with the people.
But I think she probably learned from him. I don't know. She might have been better. Because here's the thing. When she got her ass handed to her with the whole healthcare thing,
right?
She learned from that. She learned how to get better at back office shit. And that's important. A good con, you need two. You need somebody who can work the back office and somebody who's the front of the house. And Bill Clinton's the front of the house. He's able to, and I got together with a bunch of friends recently for barbecue that used to work in the mortgage industry with me. And we were talking about that. We were talking about what the next thing would be. And when we were all going through it, nobody could really appreciate how huge it was going to blow up. Nobody knew. People thought there was...
Were any of them indicted?
No, nobody was indicted. We were selling legal products. All these loans were legal.
All right.
This was all legal. And many of us were young people. We didn't really question it too much because this was the products. This was being sold. And people were making fortunes. One of the big companies that we were talking about was a company called Countrywide. And Countrywide seemed to symbolize a financial crisis more than any other. And in the history of cons, Countrywide is one of the biggest and most famous of them. And I think it was mentioned in The Big Short. If not...
in the book, at least. Yeah.
In the book, it certainly was. And we have a great commercial. And I'm going to set up this commercial. Well, the reason why I love it is because the woman in the commercial, clearly, when she's talking, and it's only 30 seconds, but she identifies 3 people who never should have gotten loans and then says how Countrywide approved them for mortgages. And it's one of my favorite things ever. And back then you thought nothing of it, but now with the knowledge you have, you kind of look back and you're like, oh, this is crazy. It's Clintonian is what it is. But let's take a look at this commercial. I absolutely love this commercial.
A growing family with a lot of debt. A young couple with no down payment. A business owner whose income was hard to document. Every one of them was turned down for a home loan by 3 different lenders. I'm with Countrywide, and I got them all approved. So if you need a lender who actually finds ways to make loans, call Countrywide. We're America's #1 home loan lender.
Isn't that great?
Wasn't the entire problem?
A growing family with a lot of debt. A veteran who set himself on fire in the kitchen. A man and woman who spend most of their days smoking opium. All of them were denied from traditional lenders. I work at Countrywide. We made their W-2s on a program on my computer, and they're all lived happily ever after.
And we don't care because we're going to sell that debt to the U.S. government.
Yeah, but the examples couldn't have been more egregious. Like a growing family with a lot of debt. They have kids every 9 months. They don't even know which end is up. They don't know how they're paying their bills. A young couple with no down payment. They've saved no money. Their parents will lend them nothing. We got them all approved.
Now that was from in the midst of the bubble, or was that recent?
Was in the midst of the bubble.
Okay,
That was in the midst of the bubble.
Yeah, that's not coming out now.
A self-employed business owner whose income is hard to document or prove even exists.
Like, how do you even
Great. I love it.
Is there a legitimate reason your income will be hard to document?
I mean, sometimes you have a self-employed business owner where it is a little tough to document because he owns a business and that business has revenue and he pays certain things out and certain things are write-offs and it does get a little more complicated. But at the end of the day, you got to look at that bottom line number kind of on the 1099. It's like, well, if you write off everything, your income is your income, and you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
So if you own a business, you have a bunch of write-offs and you have a bunch of expenses, and then you write your income down from $100,000 to $40,000, you're going to get qualified off that number. We used to qualify you off whatever number you wanted. You could state your income. State it. You could make up your income.
And there was
You
no
didn't
one
have to
verifying.
provide- There was no one verifying it other than looking at a chart and saying, oh, this guy's an investment banker. It makes sense he would make $200,000 a year. He's a dog walker, so yeah.
Wait, so you had like one of those charts with like
Yeah.
the doctor and the obesity thing?
Yeah.
It was just like a scale of numbers?
Just a scale of numbers where people would go, oh, yeah, I mean, it's a crossing guard. They can make 60 grand. They rarely do.
And like, and so whether you're in Poughkeepsie or in Great Neck, crossing guard, that like there's no.
They just, I mean, they looked, maybe some of it was local, I don't know, but there was very few, there was no documentation. There were loans without any documentation, stated loans. Verification of employment, we had to prove you had the job, but you could make up your income. And then there was a no-doc loan. A no-doc loan was no doc. You have no W-2s, no 1099s, no nothing. You just show up with a license, and we hand you money.
Now, this is because these banks were trying to make these CDO products, and they just couldn't get enough mortgages. That they were just like, give us anything.
They were
give
trying
us...
to expand their product line to help qualify borrowers who clearly should not have had the opportunity to buy a home. So their product line,
Right,
had
but they
more
were doing
stated
that
products.
because they wanted, on the other end, they were trying to make these CDOs.
They were just doing it to qualify people. It had nothing to do with the CDO. They were just doing it to get people in the door to buy homes. They're not qualifying with the documents.
Okay.
So
I thought they lowered the standards because they wanted to have.
They lowered the standards because the Community Reinvestment Act said we want you to start lending to people that have been traditionally excluded from the market. Veterans, minorities, elderly, low-income people, and these banks created these products in order to serve that market and say, well, we could state income. Many people live in a home with lots of people. Many people pay their mortgage with help. Many people, it's not just a straight, some people are self-employed. They work at 1099, whatever. And at the end of the day, all the logic now seems incredibly fallacious, and it is. But for a while there, it was, it was exactly what she said.
How was how was your cut?
A
in the
drug
no-doc?
dealer who couldn't document his income.
Now, when you got a no-doc loan, how was your cut better or worse?
What do you mean?
Like if you were doing a no-doc loan,
Your
versus,
interest rate was higher.
so you were making more money.
I was making more money. The rate was higher. The bank was making more money.
So you ever push a no-doc on someone who had documentation?
No, I mean people. You had the docs. You had the docs. At the end of the day, it was risk-based pricing.
Okay.
So the riskier
But you
got,
never
the more expensive.
you never
it got.
tried to get someone on a higher interest rate than like.
No, I've given people higher interest rates than they deserve. That's how you made money. But it was not. I never flipped a no-doc. I mean, the no-doc people are no-doc people.
Okay,
it wasn't
yeah.
like a guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It wasn't even a guy who showed up with W-2s. It's like, do you think I qualify? It was a guy where I'd call up and go, your Escalade payment is more than you bring in on the books for the month.
Yeah.
Like, your Escalade payment is more than you show in income. And he'd go, so what? And I go, so nothing. Get down here. I got $500,000 for you. You nut? That was, but I mean, again, it was great times, and it'll happen again, and it should. Because at the end of the day, it's nobody's fault, and Dana's laughing over there. Let me tell you right now, it's nobody's fault. These were greedy cops, teachers, greedy Main Street pigs that duped great institutions like the Mortgage Warehouse or the Funding Spot.
Do you have any regrets? Do you have any like particular things that like individual cases that stand out, where like maybe got a little sketchier than you were comfortable with?
No. Well, one case, this guy came to me and goes, listen, my dad's about to drop dead. I want to take all the money out of his house because I'll never get approved to buy the house. I want to take all this money, and I'm going to go to Miami and open a car wash. And I was all coked out of my skull. I said, that sounds great, Epifanio. Epifanio. And he, during the closing, the old guy didn't know where he was. He had Alzheimer's. So the closing attorney, like the guy, his son kept grabbing his hand and signing. Was signing the paper for him. And they were like, the closing attorney goes to me, he goes, listen, I want to go. He goes, can you come outside? I said, what? He goes, can you come outside? And the guy kept grabbing his hand. Daddy, no sign here. And the guy every now and then would look up from the paper, go like this. He'd go, oh. And the closing attorney called me outside and goes, listen, I want to go on the record right now and tell you, I'm very uncomfortable with this. And he goes, this is going to come back to bite us in the ass. And I said, it may and it may not. Get your ass back in that house. So we go back in, and the old guy, and then all you heard is this. The old guy is like, oh, he's just going like this, and his son goes, keep signing, Daddy. It's almost over. And I mean, this was a family first. That's what they were. They were a goddamn family.
In that moment,
They were a family. That's a father and a son, and that's a beautiful moment. That's a beautiful moment.
I'm not asking why did you go through.
We are getting arrested right after this podcast. But we're going to walk in the street, and the NYPD's just firing your weapons into both of us. There'd be no outcry.
I'm not asking why you went through with it. In that moment, did you feel anything about
I said, this guy's going to die, and his son's going to take the fucking money. But if that didn't happen, it was going to happen with somebody else who's going to earn a commission off this deal.
Okay.
What do you think? The dad was like some honest guy who gave a shit. The father, the reality of the situation was the father was an older man. He wanted to give his son as much money as he could.
We're assuming.
That's what was explained to me. That's what Epiphany explained. But there was some other thing. There was a family. Here's one that I felt bad about. We're in the Bronx. We're a block away from Montefiore Medical Center with an old white couple named the Hooks. The Hooks have a fly strip in the middle of their... A fly strip is a long piece of tape, which is dead flies. There's 18 cats in the house. They're emaciated. They come there to die. The woman says, they're not even ours. Many of them come here to die.
Inside the house.
Inside the house. Her husband is a Vietnam veteran. He's lit himself on fire. She goes, we have a problem. There's been a fire in the kitchen. He lit himself on fire the other night. I said, ma'am, that is so common. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. We're not here to judge you. They were drinking whiskey at 11 a.m., and I joined them. And we had a tough negotiation. They said, we'll do anything. We'll sign anything. I said, all right, let's make it happen. So I was a master salesperson. And then they told me this. They go, they offered to buy this house. Montefiore offered to buy this house for $1 million, but we're holding out. And I went, hey, we're all about to sign these papers. And they go, Montefiore said we're going to give us $1 million, but we think we're going to get more. And I went, you think you're going to get what? They offered a fly strip in the kitchen, $1 million. What is the difference? What is the difference between $1 million and $1.8 million to you fucking yokels?
What is it, like a month before the crash happened?
They call me, so we do the deal, because I said to them, maybe you should, this is the time I was like moral. I said, maybe you should take that deal at Montefiore. They go, we're not going to do it. I said, all right. I couldn't even get their deal done. I didn't make $1 because they went in and appraised the house and go, it's unlendable. It's unlendable. There's fire, damage, there's all kinds of problems. So they went to Montefiore and they said, listen, and it was like about a year later, and Montefiore had said, fuck it, we'll give you $250.
Wow. So you actually did the right thing.
I did the right thing.
Well, no, you tried to get the deal done, but...
Well, they wanted the deal. I told them, go with the Montefiore. They said, no. We can get more. I said, I don't know. It's $1 million. At a certain point, you're getting greedy. What's the difference? You're two fucking old drunks. $1 million. You go down to Atlantic City and you're awash in cash for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Go live. Both of them died within 2 years after Montefiore said, the fuck you. It was tough, man. Those were tough times, but, and then there were people that just really shouldn't have been getting what they got. I've given people $800,000 or $1 million where I knew this wasn't going to work. You know what I mean?
Were they just like drug addicts or were they
Well,
scammers?
Some of them said, what's the W-2?
Jesus.
You know what I mean? One of the closing attorneys goes, how much is his loan amount? I said, $775,000. And the guy's an idiot. And the guy's like, Daddy's papers, Dub. Which one's a W-2? What's this? Which one's this? I said, I always have to tell the closing attorney. We had shadier people than me. There was some I was just selling mortgages, but there were some very, very shady people. There was a guy named Howie who was one of the shadiest guys we had. Closing attorneys would hate to work with him. He would meet the closing attorney on the front lawn of the house because the closings would all take place in people's houses. Howie would meet them on the front lawn of the house. He'd go up to the car and go, hey, here's the deal. And they would go, no, there is no deal. And Howie would go, here's the deal. Don't get nuts in there. Don't go over every fee. I'll answer every question. And they go, listen, if they directly address me, I have to answer a question. And Howie would be like, no. So, and Howie would make up things that were factually untrue and tell them. Like somebody said, what's an APR? An APR is an annualized percentage rate,
Right.
meaning the rate that you pay after all is said and done, when the cost of finance is included. Or, not just the base rate, the contract rate, but the APR. We're loading all these fees on. What's that going to do to the rate, over the life of the thing? Howie, they said, and this is where a closing attorney went crazy on him. Somebody goes to Howie. They go, what is the APR? What does this mean? And Howie goes, oh, the APR. Oh, well, that's the average person rate. And you see your rate's lower than the average person rate. You're better than the average person. And the guy went, oh, that makes sense. And then the closing attorney goes, I'm leaving, and got up and left and refused to close the deal.
Wow.
Refused to close
Did that deal get done?
It got done. They just sent some other schmuck out there. Some other idiot who did it. But, I mean, this was the mortgage crisis. There was a guy that walked into the firm I worked in who was delivered sandwiches from Sue John's Deli. Mm-hmm. And we hired him. We said, you speak Spanish? Yeah, sell mortgages. And we just gave him a speech, a script, and he'd just read, hello, would you like a financiar un banco?
Wait, you hired the guy from the deli?
We hired the guy who delivered food, and we said, come on and do mortgages. Be a financial advisor.
Did someone call in sick
He was
that
a
day?
17-year-old Spanish kid who we liked. He used to deliver our sandwiches, and we said, you speak Spanish. Come on in and whack the people over the head.
Okay, I gotcha.
Everybody, the Haitian guy that worked with us used to whack the Haitians over the head. Everybody whacked their own people over
So
the
you
head.
were diversified.
We were diverse. There's something really egalitarian about a sales office, you know? But, I mean, there was really some crazy times. The guy who owned the company was a 24-year-old who used to sell ecstasy, and his attorney said, I can't get you out of drugs anymore. With the Rockefeller laws, you're going to jail. If you get caught again, you need to do something else. And so he started a mortgage bank. He told that story at the monthly meeting in front of 200 people, and people clapped. He goes, and then I started this firm. Insane.
Did you have a niche? Who were you beating over the head?
Just anyone.
All right.
Fat pigs. I did a lot of Long Island business. I did some Brooklyn business. I did a lot of Long Island.
So if you were there longer, would you have carved that little segment of people that you like?
I mean, I didn't do that well. I didn't make a ton of money. There were guys making $100,000 a month.
Okay.
I was just drugged out of my head trying to figure out anything.
Right.
But I wasn't a great. And I also got in late. I got in kind of late. I was in through 2000. I started in 2006, really 2005, 2006, but 2009 and 10 were the years I was still in it, and this was post-crash.
Sure.
You were just doing government deals, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, government-insured loans. All the fun had gone. The drugs were gone. It was a long hangover.
Right.
That was a hangover, 2009. It was a real rough stuff, But I think we're going to wrap this up, Dana. We're wrapping up pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an hour, so now you're at your leisure to wrap whenever you want.
Okay, well, folks, I'm going to hell. I think we all know why. We got a lot more stories. We got a lot more stuff. We're going to have guests come in. We're going to talk to them. They're going to tell me why I'm wrong and why people should be moral. And I don't think I'll be persuaded. I might. We will go into some fun stuff about the election, and we're going to have segments where we find scams and cons and stuff that's going on this week or this month that we really appreciate. We like to have fun. So don't email me and tell me that it's amoral and that mortgage brokers suck. I'm just going to delete your email because we all know that the world is full of evil that's run rampant. So don't think that you're sitting in some liberal arts college town, you're going to tweet me and I'm going to go, oh, no, Rebecca's right. I'm not. So understand we're having fun. We know that there are bad things in the world. Bad things happen. There are bad people, and thank God for them. They make it all worthwhile because, again, without the evil, there'd be no value in good, folks. There'd be no value in your little faggoty class you take in your little Vermont college where you think you know about the world. God bless the Saudis, George W. Bush, Hillary Clinton, the Illuminati, all the great cons, killers, and thieves. Till next time, we'll see you in hell.